elaborating a little bit more of yesterday's post, a lot of households don't show their dogs restriction. They don't teach their dogs that hand touching is okay. They don't groom their dogs with a comb. They don't use the Dremel to do the nails of the dog. And they rely on a stranger to do that, and it's very traumatizing for the dog. And everyone has seen where a child goes to the barber shop and the child sits in the chair, and then the barber's like, all right, you have to stay still so I could cut your hair properly. And the kid starts wailing and bugging out because the kid's never been taught to sit still before. And the parents relied on a stranger to do that. Same thing where you see dogs screaming at the groomers, and if you take the dog to the vet, the dog will start shaking when it goes to the vet, because it knows when it goes to those places that it's not the dog's advantage, it's not your pup's advantage. So the dog starts to misbehave, well, we call it. Meanwhile, the dog is actually just working on advantages and disadvantages. So before you bring the dog to a professional groomer to make their life easier, you should desensitize the dog to combs and brushes so the dog is not mouthing, the dog is not bugging out. That's gonna make the life of the groomer a lot more better. You're gonna see when you go to the vet, they put the dog on the table. So you wanna desensitize the dog to that so that when they go to the vet, they can have a proper checkup without the pup bugging out, screaming out, things like that. We call that tactile commands, and that's under the form of negative reinforcement, which is like an icky word, right? But when you want to strengthen a structure, you want to reinforce it. So you have positive reinforcement, I like what you did, do it again. You have negative reinforcement where you're communicating to the dog with pressure, whether it's hand touching and things like that. The dog needs to be desensitized to that. And negative reinforcement is, I want you to do the behavior while you're distracted. So in our board and trains, we prep the dog for these scenarios. Another thing that we do is we teach the kennel command and we teach the place command. Because one day you're going to go on vacation or you're traveling and the dog needs to be in a kennel. We don't want the dog bugging out. We want the dog to love the kennel. We want the dog to love and find an advantage of hand touching. So I do this, I place there, and there's nothing wrong with that. With the Dremel, we do the nails, nothing wrong with that. A lot of households skip out on this and they expect if they go to the vet that the vet should be able to handle the dog. No, 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 no. You need to desensitize the pup to this stuff. And Molly's a puppy. She's almost reaching about 6 months right now. And a lot of the training was desensitizing. For her to accept hand touching, to accept pressure related training, which is this. I push on the back and the dog should go DOWN. This would make the life of the groomer, of the person that's taking care of your dog, a lot better. Now, we had a situation where it's raining. And if it's raining, we take the dog out for a walk, and then for proper exercise, we put the dog on the fire paw. It could be a regular human treadmill, it could be a carpet mill, it could be a dog pacer that was invented for dogs, and it could be something expensive like this, like the fire paw, where they could run top speed as much as they want. So this is a tip that I'm giving you guys where a lot of households skip out on. They let their dog do whatever they want. They don't kennel the dog, they don't groom their dog, they don't touch the dog like that. And it leads to a psychological thing where when someone else is showing restriction, the dog is gonna react. And then you have posts and things like that, especially in my Facebook group. Oh, I took my dog to the groomer and they couldn't groom my dog. No, you should be able to show the ropes to your dog what grooming looks like to make the life of the groomer easier. You should be able to grab your dog's paws, things like that, without the dog reacting and biting and screaming, so you can make the life of the veterinarian better so the veterinarian could properly inspect your dog. So this is just another tip that I'm giving you guys that we do for our board and trains and our private lessons. This is Dog Trainer Rob. Any questions you guys have, leave them in the comments section. Questions and discussions are always welcomed. See you guys next video.